shit.
Bam.
Okay, at least we. Oh shit. Do we?
Well, so we should be happy for the disconnect. So we found out that we weren't streaming at least, not until it was all over.
Yeah. Okay. So that means it's not going to be disrupted. Okay, we're starting 20 minutes late then.
Damn.
Should we just take it from the top then? I guess. We'll run through it.
Okay.
What can we do?
Yeah, we can do it.
Yeah.
Go
Okay.
ahead.
Welcome back to Eurozone. It's been a while. In the meantime, the Western media has gone completely quiet around the Gaza genocide and the Israeli occupation of the West Bank. In this live stream, we're going to cover everything that Israel has been doing inside of Gaza, the West Bank, Israel proper, Jerusalem, but also how they are expanding beyond the borders of Israel into Lebanon and Syria. We're going to talk about the mass arrest campaigns that have been happening, the torture and murder of Palestinian prisoners, and also about how even people in Europe are being arrested for speaking out against Israel. And last but not least, we're going to get into the case of Mustafa Ayyash specifically. You might have seen the TikTok that blew up around that. He's the guy behind me. Indeed, I saw you looking.
The poster slowly
Falling. And hopefully at the end we can get into some of the micro resistance, as I've called it. But yeah, some of the more broader resistance movements that we're seeing in Europe around boycotts and so on. All right, we had already started the live stream, but we had to restart. So let's get into the first topic. As you know, we like to do little segments for YouTube as well. So if you're watching this live and like to have fun, you can leave a comment. It's a bit more disorganized, but if you just want to see the proper videos, this is what it looks like. We say it live and then we cut it. Are you ready, Ruben?
I'm ready.
Okay.
I've been ready.
You've been ready? Yeah, we've already started. All right. First one, let's go. Welcome back to Eurozone. Today we're going to be discussing everything that's happening inside of Gaza and the West Bank. Israel has now instituted the Gaza Partition plan, which was a plan approved by the UN Security Council. We're going to look at what that means for the situation on the ground in Gaza and how it is just a new form of neocolonialism. We're going to look at the West Bank, which has now been fully ghettoized, meaning that the Palestinians have been locked into small pockets. And we're going to look at the mass arrests that have been happening across Jerusalem and the West Bank. As a lot of arrests since October 7th, but it has been peaking and spiking now in the last 2 months. We're going to look at the state of Palestinian hostages in Israel, talking about torture, rape, and death. And last but not least, we're going to look at Marwan Barghouti, who is a former Palestinian politician who has been in prison since 2002. And we're going to look at his condition. He's seen as one of these broad figures that could form a big Palestinian coalition for a future Palestinian state. So, starting with the Gaza Partition plan, it was approved by the UN Security Council, on which two nations sit. I think a lot of people on the left were hoping for one of these two nations to veto the bill, the resolution, and that is Russia or China. So yeah, the first thing I would ask you, Ruben, is are you at all surprised or disappointed in Russia and China's decision to just abstain?
Yeah, I don't get disappointed easily anymore because I don't have that high of expectations, not of any country, but still obviously hoping for more when the vote comes to the table. And then again, also I wasn't really following the vote that much because it's quite inconsequential. The United States and Israel were going to do what they were going to do anyway, whether it was going to be approved in the Security Council or not.
Yeah, I think it's funny how the UN institution has just become this sort of like, you know, whenever the UN agrees on something that goes against what the West is trying to do, it's seen as completely irrelevant. We even sanction the judges. I don't know if you've heard about the judge here in the Netherlands from the International Criminal Court, how his life has been made impossible So we actively disarm and unfang or unteeth the UN whenever they're making decisions against Western plans. But as soon as the West has to continue a genocide or do a colonial action, they go to the UN to get some sort of legitimacy, right? Institutional legitimacy. That's kind of all the UN is nowadays. It's just a place for Israel and their happy friends, their happy collaborators, to come and get a green stamp of approval. Yeah. So I think a lot of people have been excusing Russia and China's decision quite a bit, saying that they're not directly involved. If you look at Europe, they voted for the resolution. So I absolutely agree that the main burden to stop the genocide is on Israel, the US, and Europe, because they're actively doing it. They're actively collaborating.
Yeah.
But
special mention for the UK for like pressuring the ICC president came out this week, and also the level of collaboration in this genocide with the spy planes is
it's crazy. They're directly involved. There's no other way to say it. But still, I think, or I know that Russia and China have a moral responsibility to stop a genocide. I mean, China you can excuse a little bit. Because they are still trying to keep the peace with the West. They're not at war with the West currently. They are in some sort of economic war, but they're not fighting a hot war against Europe or the US at the moment. However, Russia, as you mentioned earlier, they are at war with the West. They're already in full sanction, right? They're being they completely cut off from the West, so they really have no excuse. I mean, you're at the Security Council. You already have the power to stop this. You could veto it. You have nothing to lose. You're already at war. But for some reason, they decided not to. And I think that's an absolute scam. And now that the U.S., by the way, they released their new strategy for the what did they call it now? The Department of War. Part of it is to ally with Russia. And form this right-wing coalition.
Was that part of it as well?
Yeah.
Okay.
So a lot of pundits have been looking into it, and it looks like they want to create this pro-Russia, pro-Trump European bloc, which is going to be Italy, Hungary, and a few other countries in that little pocket, and to divide Europe then into two different parts.
Now we know why all these small political parties with some with some love for the Russian Federation came into existence maybe already some time ago.
I mean, alt-right in Europe has been funded by Putin's oligarchs for a long time. So there is a strong possible coalition there between the alt-right American, Europeans, and Russians. And I think the Russians sold out Palestine in this case as sort of an offering to Trump to say, like, guys, we're really not against. I mean, if you look at Putin, what he did in Afghanistan and many other countries, he wanted to be part of this colonial genocidal machine. Even if you look at what he does in Africa, like in North Africa specifically, he very much wanted to be part of the European neo-colonial club. I think a big part of why he's so pissed off at Europe is that he wasn't allowed to.
He's just jealous. He wants to be part of the club.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, he was the KGB agents that betrayed the Soviet Union, right? He replaced communism with oligarch capitalism and opened the market to Europe. Communism with oligarch capitalism and opened the market to Europe.
Historically, it's been like this for Russia a lot of times, right? To be sort of Europe. Historically, it's been like this for Russia a lot of times, right? To be sort of Europe, but not really Europe.
Exactly. I think they are, more than anything, pissed off that they don't get to take part in European impunity and just complete extraction politics. And I think this is another case of that, where he's saying, guys, look, do what you want in Gaza, just accept me back into the Western world. That's how I see it. So shame on Russia, shame on China. The Western Empire has not fallen yet. They're very much still in control, and for the time being, they can commit a genocide at anywhere, at any time. Yeah.
No consequence.
Yeah, definitely.
But the consequence will come, I hope, one day.
Yeah, let's see. Okay. let's have a look at this partition plan and what it actually means. So I have here a link from the Middle East Monitor, and what they summarize it pretty nicely. So I want to read this article for you guys. So the first phase of the plan, which placed most of Gaza under Israeli military control in anticipation of a gradual withdrawal, is already proving to be a sham. So this would be the ceasefire, right, that we had. As of the time of writing this article, Israel, according to the Gaza government media office, has violated the agreement nearly 400 times, killing over 300 Palestinians. Israel continues to systematically demolish Palestinian areas and has increasingly begun operating west of the Yellow Line, which separates Gaza into two regions.
But it's really comforting to know that the ceasefire still stands according to the foreign ministers of Western nations. So it's really comforting.
Yeah, it's crazy, right? So you have this absolute scam of a ceasefire, which is, by the way, the base of where this agreement comes into play. And in that ceasefire, Gaza is already divided into two bits, and Israel is supposed to withdraw from that area. But now in the partition plan, the area that Israel still holds, which they were supposed to withdraw from, has now been officially given to Israel. So they are going to start colonizing that area, and they are going to start creating a military apartheid state, just like they did in the West Bank. And that's going to become basically a West Bank type of ghetto.
It seems like already, I realize now, a little bit of a repeat of the previous ceasefire, where it's cut up into different phases, obviously, and then the first phase passes and Hamas fulfills its obligations according to the first phase. Already now, all the bodies and the hostages have been returned, so phase one should be over. We should be going to phase two. And just like the previous time, if I remember correctly, Netanyahu will say, we have to start phase two very quickly. And then phase two never comes.
Exactly. So so that's the first part. Is now it's been official that Gaza is split into two. On one side, you have slight rebuilding going on. I'm talking about hundreds, maybe a few thousand, out of 1.5 million supposedly still left. And in those areas, you have some aid coming through. On the other side, that has been left to the rest of the population in Gaza control or in Hamas control, you have no aid allowed in. You have no reconstruction at all, and you just have this slow burn genocide that continues with massacres, bombings, and so on. So, and that's what we see here in the next part of the article. So we're still, according to the Gaza authorities, Israel has been expanding its share of Gaza, estimated at approximately 58% westward. The ceasefire has effectively enforced a new mechanism that allows Israel to carry out a one-sided war with further territorial expansion, destruction, assassination, and occasional massacres, while Palestinians expect nothing but the mere slowing down of the Israeli death machine. This is not sustainable, especially since Israel has also violated the most basic principle of the imaginary ceasefire, allowing vital aid to enter Gaza. The UNSC 2803, which is the Security Council resolution, endorses the comprehensive stabilization plan for Gaza without placing any legally binding expectations on Israel. It establishes a transitional administration and oversight council, which entirely excludes Palestinians, including the Western-supported Palestinian Authority. So, the remaining part of Gaza that is right now in the hands of Hamas, according to the ceasefire, is now, per this partition plan, going to be handed over to an international force where the sole person on top is the United States of America. Gaza is now officially and fully colonized. They have nothing left. It went from an open-air prison to being part of Israel, one half of it, and the other half is part of the Western global community. What do we call it? The United States, essentially. And more details here. The executive branch of this coalition would be the International Stabilization Force, also known as ISF.
Do we already know who signed up for the ISF? Because Indonesia, I think
they're having trouble finding
some people.
They're having a lot of trouble finding people to be part of this ISF.
I think the problem is that Hamas is already saying we are not going to disarm, so that means the ISF would have to use force to achieve their goal.
Exactly.
Nobody's willing to do that, probably.
Yeah, let me finish the article here, because that's exactly what it states, and then we'll discuss it. So, the ISF, whose sole job is to stabilize the security environment in Gaza on behalf of Israel, notably by disarming Palestinian groups. That's the purpose of the ISF. According to the resolution, operates in close consultation and cooperation, meaning that the force is tasked with achieving Israel's military objectives, hereby allowing Israel to determine the timing and nature of its supposed gradual withdrawal. Since Palestinians refuse to disarm, as unconditional disarmament without meaningful international guarantees would surely lead to the return of the Israeli genocide, Israel will certainly refuse to leave Gaza. Netanyahu made this clear on the 16th of November when he stated that Israel would not withdraw without disarming Hamas, either the easy way or the hard way. So, all of this to say, indeed, this partition plan, all it is handing over half of Gaza officially to Israel. The other half will be disarmed and invaded by, on behalf of Western governments, and eventually then handed over to Israel at some point in the future, I imagine.
That's what it seems like,
Yeah. Israel could not disarm Hamas, so now we're being asked to do it for them. And
I do find it a little bit funny still that even an article like this, right, they refer to it as Israel's military objectives. They aren't military objectives, actually. They are expansionist objectives. And obviously they use military justifications and military means to achieve this goal, but disarming Hamas is not the end goal, of course. They didn't even achieve it. They are not able to achieve it because it's resistance from the people who live there. Even still framing it as a military objective, it's not correct. It's not a military objective.
And crazy that now we have to go and fight the war for them in Israel, because they weren't able to do it themselves. And this is the official peace process that the Europeans are coming with, saying that this might lead to a Palestinian state. That was one of the, that's what I saw in France 24. French
because
outlet.
Macron and Starmer, they recognized the Palestinian state.
Which is
did you forget about that?
Yeah, I did.
Monumental. It was monumental.
I did, because they also in the same breath hand over Palestine to Israel officially in a UN resolution. So
now looking back, we know that I think we already said it at that time, like they attached the disarmament of Hamas to the recognition, but they already knew back then that this was going to be the follow-up so that they could recognize Palestine without any consequence in reality.
Absolutely. And this is the result of that. So...
And the timing was perfect.
Yeah, they did it all so planned out.
They had been etching us for months with this recognition.
Yeah.
And then, we recognize, and then they diffused the conflict, sort of. And
the recognition
really
of the
smart.
Palestinian state and the fake ceasefire announcement, both of them were made to quiet the international left, so that Israel could go ahead and now officially get all of Gaza handed over to them by the UN, without Russia or China vetoing, and while the whole world brands it as a final peace solution. Terrible. We have later on, we're going to talk about the 5 stages of Israeli expansion, which goes into what stage this is exactly, because you're going to see a repeating pattern. But that was Gaza. So now moving on to the West Bank, because that's a part that people have ignored completely in the last 2 years. I don't know if you're aware, but the West Bank is now fully been closed into small little ghettos where people cannot go in and out. There is not even the supposed freedom of movement between neighborhoods. So what they've done is they installed these metal gates years ago, and they have now permanently closed the metal gates. And as this comedian from Romania said, a permanently closed gate is not a gate, that's just a wall. And they paint the gates different colors. We don't know what the colors mean, but the Palestinians have started to map out, and there's 2 colors that basically mean that the gates are permanently closed now.
Yeah, this is a game they love to play as well, right? When you
Yeah.
fly to Israel, you will get a sticker with a number.
Right.
And so you always also have this debate about what the numbers mean.
Yeah.
And I think this is part of it's a psychological trick.
Yeah.
So even just talking about or wondering about what it could mean is part of the terror that they instill.
Absolutely. Yeah. It's one of their many tactics to just lead to a confusing and unsustainable life, right? Nobody wants to live in conditions like this, and the West Bank has been under military occupation now for 78 years, 75 years. And it's now becoming even worse, and it looks like we're going to have another round of genocide soon in the West Bank as well. And part of that is these mass arrests that we've seen. So since October 7, just looking at the West Bank and in Jerusalem, they have arrested 19,000 individuals, 1,550.
Let's say kidnapped.
Kidnapped, yeah. They have kidnapped. Yeah, no, indeed. Actually, sorry, my bad.
Yeah.
Because when they say arrested, there is no civil administration or judicial system.
They don't even have the authority to arrest.
They don't have
people.
the so
even if they had some kind of judicial process in place, they don't have the authority, legitimacy to do this
there is
whatsoever.
nothing. There is nothing. So sorry, I just want to mute this one quickly because it's bothering me. Okay, so they have kidnapped now several thousand, 19,000 people. 1,550 of them are children, and 590 of them are women. Interesting how they kidnap more children than they even kidnap women. To be honest, that for me shows a sick focus on brutalizing Palestinian children. And just in November alone, the number was 570 individuals, 41 of those children, and 8 of them women.
So the ratio of women to children, it's getting even worse.
Yeah, no, it is. And it's, as you mentioned, there's no legal process. These are military courts. These are not, like normal democratic rights do not apply to these individuals. They have no right to see a lawyer, to have a translator present, they can be held indefinitely without reason. Yeah. There is no need to prove a crime. And that's why it is a kidnapping. Yeah,
I believe half of the arrest or half of the kidnappings. Sorry, I made the same mistake. Half of the kidnappings, I believe, in general or on average over the years, have been administrative detention. So then half of them have some sort of legal justification, but in most cases, this is throwing a stone, being at the wrong place at the wrong time, or associating with the wrong kind of person, or they have some idea that you might be planning to do something, and then there's the secret evidence part, right? So you don't even get to do a defense, and it's a military court.
Yeah, exactly. We're gonna talk about the conditions now inside of these prisons. So one interesting headline I watched:
the torture camps.
The torture camps.
Yeah.
So, for all of you who love to say that I never check any unbiased sources, this time the source is the Times of Israel. Hopefully it loads here in a second. But yeah, I was after this video about Mustafa Ayash, where I proclaimed that if he gets sent to Israel, he will most likely be murdered. Yeah. I got this one comment, or a guy who reacted to the video and said, know that in Israel all the Palestinian detainees are treated amazing. There's nothing going on there that would be like indicative of torture or anything. That I'm absolutely lying. And then he asked for a source. First I sent him TRT, and he said, "You think you can trust the Russians?" And then I sent him Times of Israel, and he went quiet. So let me something like this. Okay, so Times of Israel, for all of you guys that love to say we need to include more Israeli sources. Palestinian prisoner deaths spike amid systemic abuse, neglect, rights group finds. Former prison guard says it was business as usual when he came to work and found a dead prisoner. Commanders who participated in beatings told guards to reduce the number of deaths. As always, the Israelis being a lot more...
Try to keep them alive at least, so
Yeah.
we don't have to like go through the process of filling out maybe a form or getting some kind of complaint.
Yeah. And as always, the Times of Israel being much more honest about how they treat Palestinians in Israel than Western media.
Yeah.
I wish that Western media was able to use Google Translate. I mean, not even. This one is written in English,
It's
by the
written
way.
in English. They don't want to know.
they
They
don't-
don't want to
they-
report
yeah,
on it.
they
They
literally
choose not to report on it.
Absolutely.
That's it.
So let me quickly. There's some excerpts in here that are brutal, but I think it's good to review. So, the number of Palestinians dying in Israeli custody has surged to nearly 100 people since the start of the war in Gaza, according to a report published Monday by human rights groups, and says systemic violence and denial of medical care at prisons and detention centers contributed to many of the deaths it examined. There's one part here that I really thought was interesting. So here, the former guard at the military prison, notorious for its harsh treatment of Palestinians, told the AP detainees were routinely shackled with chains and kicked and hit with batons, and that the facility had been dubbed a graveyard because so many prisoners were dying there. He agreed to talk to AP to raise awareness of violence in Israeli prisons and spoke on condition of anonymity due to fear of reprisal. I think we go a bit lower.
Who is PHRI, by the way? Do you know?
I'm not exactly sure.
Because they're talking about reported deaths by PHRI.
So this is one of the, I think it's one of the human rights groups inside of Israel itself.
Yeah. It must be at least double that don't get reported. So
yeah. So here's the excerpt that I thought was really interesting. So although hesitant at first, the former guard at the SDE Teiman military prison in the southern Israel said he eventually participated in the beatings of the prisoners. One morning, early in Israel's war against Hamas, the guard arrived at work to see a motionless Palestinian lying on his side in the yard. Yet no guards rushed to see what was happened to the man who was dead. It was sort of business as usual with a dead guy, said the guard, who didn't know the cause of the death. Prisoners' arms and legs were always in chains, and they were beaten if they moved or spoke, the guard said, adding that nearly all would urinate and defecate on themselves rather than ask to use the bathroom, because if they speak, they get beaten. The former nurse at the same internment camp said chains used to retain many prisoners' arms and legs caused such severe wounds that some needed their limbs to be amputated. She spoke on condition of anonymity for fear of reprisal. During the several weeks she worked there at the start of last year, she didn't see anyone die, but she said that the staff at times talked about prisoners' deaths. She left the job because she didn't like the abusive treatment of prisoners, she said.
This is also noteworthy. She's part of the medical staff, and somehow she's not aware of the amount of people dying in the prison.
Yeah, that's
so
crazy,
who is confirming these deaths?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Last little bit here. So guards were told by their commanders, who also participated in the beatings, that they needed to reduce the deaths according to the SDE Teiman guard. I don't know how to say it. Yeah. Eventually cameras were installed which helped mitigate the abuse, he said. 29 prisoners have died at the SD Teiman since the war began, according to the PHRI. So that is the condition of the prisoners inside of Israel. Just absolute torture. I don't know how else to describe it other than Auschwitz type treatment. Just absolutely brutal. And this is happening to women, children, and a bunch of men without charge.
Yeah. Well, making the Auschwitz comparison is I made it recently because of the tents and the rains in Gaza. Obviously, like thinking even in Auschwitz, people had some protection against the elements at least. And as bad as Auschwitz was, people were able to walk around outside and talk to each other. They didn't spend all the time shackled on the floor.
I'm not going to at all join you in lessering the brutalities of
it's
the
bad
of
enough.
Auschwitz.
It's bad enough, but it's still something different than spending all your time shackled on the floor.
I don't know. I think I see what you're trying to say, but I think Auschwitz is...
It's still planned extermination and torture. And
I mean, eventually, no matter how the conditions were, I mean, they did do a lot of the same treatments, right? Like putting 20 people into a box.
I'm not trying to make it
gas
like, it's not that
well,
bad. It's just that the outrage that people still have for Auschwitz, and then
that I think is the main point.
Things that are obviously at least just as bad, or there's indications that conditions may even be a lot worse.
Right.
And then it's, that's the thing you get with the people are arrested and they are in prisons, right? It gets some sort of legitimacy. So of course, I would prisoners, they need to be shackled.
But I mean, there is no legitimacy because these are being arrested under military law. So if you want to compare to Nazi Germany, the arrest taking place is the exact same. Arrest without a judicial system on behalf of a state, of a military state, right? Of a fascist military state that includes women and children. And once they are arrested, I agree that they are in conditions that are very similar, if not just as bad as Auschwitz. The only thing missing is the gas chamber, let's say, machine of extermination. But they are, as we're reading, they are ramping up to that point. I think, if I have to be very accurate, I would say that we are in the first months now. What the concentration camps look like in Germany in the first months, maybe even the first year of being established, that is where we are now in terms of Israel. And where it will most likely go next is develop into that full extermination camp. Because still in Auschwitz you had, maybe they were not in a cell 24/7, but many of them were. You know, you had the Auschwitz orchestra, just as a example of the brutality. You had this torture mechanism where they would put 20-40 people into a small box until they would suffocate to death, like just compressing limbs together, essentially. So I don't want to take away from that at all. But if we use that, as you're saying, the outrage we have for Auschwitz, we are now at a point where we should have the same level of outrage for the Palestinian prisoners.
Well, should have been having it for decades, maybe.
Yeah, for sure.
Because this is nothing new.
That's true.
That's the whole point. It's not even being reported now. And this is nothing new. We've been. This has been known. Even the stealing of organs has been known since the 90s. Like,
amputating prisoners because you have shackled them for too long and too tight. People being forced with bags over their head, endlessly lying on the ground, and every time they talk they get beat, so they're scared of asking to go to the bathroom, so they urinate on themselves. I mean, I don't think I can put more words to describe how horrible it is.
There's no way to describe it.
I have this
personally, I think the Zionists are too smart to ever get to the point of gas chambers or this kind of coordinated many ways to die with plausible deniability.
Yeah, exactly.
In Gaza now, people are dying because the wind is blowing over houses that are unstable, and people die just getting crushed under the concrete. Like yesterday, 6 people died just from a building collapse. Yeah. So there's enough ways to make sure people die without having the smoking gun in your hand, and they know perfectly how to do it.
Yeah. More words to it. So I'm just going to show this clip from Dropsite News. If you don't follow them, they're one of the best sources when it comes to Palestine. And this is from a lawyer, an Israeli lawyer representing Palestinian detainees in Israeli prison.
You were referring to, however, in that video, is it?
I don't think we'll be able to hear.
Only client. And this is my only client.
This is your only... So that same client is being brutalized in the way that you describe every time you go to see him?
Yes, I want to say something about this also. Everybody's talking to me about the rape. Like the rape is the big issue. The rape is not the big issue.
I mean...
The rape is the least of his problems.
Wow. Wow.
Rape is not the issue. The issue is the conditions of the prisoners. And the rape is just one of the many pieces of the puzzle, which is Israel torturing the Palestinian prisoners. The sodomy is just what it happens for 5 minutes. It's not the end of the world. I mean, it's horrible for them because it's horrible, it's humiliating, it's rape. But he's telling about this like it's just one of the things. He
Wow.
showed me the boot marks on his back. He showed me the like you see a red line on his hands where handcuffs are being put.
Yes.
And they stop the.
So, sorry guys, if you saw us reacting to each other, it's because we realized we cannot hear the video live. But I think this gives a very clear example of the conditions inside of Israeli prisons. Essentially, the person he is representing is being systematically raped every time that he asks for a visit from his lawyer in order to discourage the lawyer from going. And he's now started saying, please don't come. Please stop visiting me, because every time you do, they do this to me. The interviewer from Dropside News is shocked and says, wow, that must be terrible. And the response is actually, well, it's the least of his problems, because the abuse and the torture is so routine and so extreme that rape is just one extra element that actually is just part of another day. So it's not even his main concern, right?
Yeah.
And yeah, talking on that topic, Marwan Barghouti, who is a Palestinian politician, is currently in those conditions and is being tortured and also punished because he could be a potential leader to represent the state of Palestine. So switching a bit of topic to this boundaries of 1967 Palestine. So he says, as soon as you cross the boundaries, stop. Do not attack Israeli military or civilians inside of Israel.
So he's quite a moderate.
He's very much a moderate,
Yeah.
and
I would say he almost sounds like a collaborator to me now.
closely. He's right.
Kidding.
No, I mean, who knows? He's right on that limit. Sorry, but we've been burnt before, so I don't want to stain his name at all. I mean, that's not for me to decide. That's for the Palestinians.
Exactly. I
But-
was kidding, but I'm just saying I'm more extreme.
Yeah. But I think that's why they're keeping him alive, because inside of the world of violent resistance, he is marked as someone who is slightly more moderate, as you're saying.
He could be a plan B,
He could be
because they have a plan B, C, D, E,
always,
F, and
always.
G. Yeah.
But he is being tortured heavily now because of this campaign that around the world called Free Marwan Barghouti. He is often described as the Nelson Mandela of Palestine by Western media. And if we look at his history, so he was a politician and the legislator. Permanent.
Disconnected.
Should I? I'm not sure if it reconnects by itself. Let me see. We're reconnected successfully.
Yeah. Good.
Yeah, I think we're here. Yeah. Okay. Just okay. We're back. So you create this permanent soft occupation whereby living standards become impossible in those countries, and you keep the provocation going until they fight back, which is the one thing not allowed to do under soft occupation. Because if you do fight back, then they turn on the genocide machine. And that's what we're seeing now in Gaza, right? So they're genociding Gaza in order to move into the final two stages and eventually full takeover, ethnic cleansing. And this is just essentially the genocide is used as a tool to just root out not only any current backlash or resistance, but to completely demolish the life itself of the opposer, of the other group. So you can then go in and do the last two things without any form of resistance at all. Just really uprooting the whole nation and population completely, entirely, right? This is where complete disarmament takes place. So you cannot even have factions inside of those countries fighting back. And what you get in the end is a result kind of like the West Bank, right? Where you really have nobody left to fight. Whoever is left with weapons are collaborators to Israel, which helps them in imposing the next parts. And this is where Gaza is going now with the partition plan that we just discussed in the first part of the live stream. If you guys are joining on YouTube, we do live streams, but You can watch that clip. The Gaza partition plan is now moving from that genocide stage into a full occupation, where Israel now has the right to occupy half of Gaza, and the other half will be occupied by the United States and other international forces. So that's the third stage, genocide. Then we have the fourth stage, which is hard occupation and apartheid. And here I think the West Bank is the perfect example. So the people who live in the West Bank are all refugees from the 1947 Nakba, which I would also classify as a genocide. So again, the same pattern. First, you go to war against the people, like they did in the 6-Day War, like they did in 1947. Then you sign a peace agreement where you say, okay, we're not going to attack each other, but then you continue attacking them, and every time they attack you, you use it as an excuse to do a genocide. When they are then when the resistance fully attacks them, they go in and they commit the Nakba, the full genocide. They kick all the Palestinians out, force them into the West Bank. They uproot any form, through genocide, they uproot any form of resistance. You're left with this soft occupation that through genocide is turned into hard occupation, and eventually you have this full military apartheid. So the people in the West Bank now have a Palestinian Authority which is completely compliant to Israel. It is a collaborator of Israel, and it's what the job of the Palestinian Authority is to slowly, house by house, kick out Palestinians so that Israelis can move in and tighten the noose around Palestinian society, making life harder and harder and harder.
Are being funneled through Israel, so they might be profiting even through the PA.
Yeah, it becomes just another institution of Israeli control. And what a state without a state. So a state that is just a transitionary government between a hard military occupation, an apartheid state, and eventually transitions into a full ethnic cleansing where it just becomes part of Israel. So people in Palestine, in the West Bank, are slowly being pushed out. They are arrested for the most minor infraction. They are tortured. They are slowly pushed out so that Israel can then fully take over and have their land. And this is how Israel expands, right? So this is what will come to Gaza now, is something like the West Bank. So whoever stays behind will be so few that they can be integrated into Israeli society without having enough rights to ever challenge the status quo and the ethno-supremacist project, which is Israel. And that leads us to the final stage, the fifth stage, which is complete and utter ethnic cleansing, which would be what I describe as Israel proper, or what is known as Israel proper, plus, very important, the settlements in the West Bank. So this means once, like we see in the West Bank, now that it's being transformed into this stage, once there has been enough hard occupation, once the military occupation has done its job, they can just go in, claim the land as their own, set up their new state rules, have a few of the native people left behind integrated to their society, but they're always so few that they will not be able to challenge, and they are officially declared second-class citizens who might be able to vote but cannot vote on certain councils, will never be allowed to represent ideas that go against the ethno-state.
Never be allowed to live in any plot of land owned by the Jewish National Fund, which is 80%.
Right, so you'll be locked in very few communities. You'll be essentially like the Native Americans in North America, right?
Yeah.
And this is a playbook stolen from the Americans, by the way, and the Europeans. So this is nothing new. This is how colonialism expanded in that piece of land, and military has full control.
And then they can just use the system of capitalism, right, also to get the last part. So then Israelis can just buy houses within Palestinian communities, and they will just, the Palestinians living there will just sell it because there's nothing else to do. And then it just, it becomes like gentrification in Amsterdam sort of.
Yeah.
It just
Yeah.
it's part of the system.
Exactly. That's and that just becomes Israel proper, and eventually gets recognized by the international community, and thus Israel has now expanded, right? And that is what we're going to see in the West Bank soon, I imagine. They're going from stage 4 to stage 5. Amazing.
I agree with a lot of it because you describe a lot of the tactics aren't really that separate, right? It's
Right.
to describe it, but they will scale it up, they will scale it down, and
Yeah.
and in the end, the genocide started with the Nakba,
Yeah.
and it has been an ongoing genocide since
I realized when I got
the start.
once I got to the West Bank, I realized this is where my 5-stage gets a little tricky, because the West Bank has gone from stage 1 to 5 and back a few times.
Yeah.
So it's not as linear,
No.
per se.
Yeah.
But I still think there's those 5 like levels, right? And as soon as you have stage 1, which is war, there is no other end but stage 5. That is what I want people to remember.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it is like, if they can just start with the war, they will start with the war, and it will end on terms which will grant them more room to just do what they want. And then they use the economic parts or the import parts to just make it unlivable. People will leave by themselves.
Yeah.
Then it becomes easier to occupy. And then when you are doing complete carnage in Gaza, you can use the smoke of that carnage to just attack Syria, which you wouldn't be able to do in any other situation. But since we are distracted by the horrors over there, you can do this. And it's just a constant play that's going on. And so obviously, they want to control at least until Damascus. And apparently there's water resources there as well. I didn't know.
Yeah, I think they want to go as far as they can.
Yeah. But at least Litani River, Damascus. And now apparently I heard today treaty between Israel and Jordan contains some provisions on the allocation of water from Israel to Jordan. And now they aren't even doing that. So even the sweetest collaborator that you can imagine, even if you collaborate till the end,
that's the soft occupation.
No guarantee.
That's the soft occupation. They will take full control of your resources, your borders, and your military. And still they will make life so unlivable that eventually you revolt. And then when they do that in Jordan, then comes the genocide. So what I really wanted to highlight with this piece is that the nature of the Israeli regime, how they are an expansionist project, first and foremost, and how in every single case, no matter where you look, the main goal and main driver is always to move from the current stage to the next stage. That is always their line of action, every single time. And interestingly, in Jordan, you mentioned, so there's the Jordan River, right, between Israel and Jordan, that also supplies water to Palestine, to the West Bank. And the agreement between Jordan and Israel is that Jordan gets 50% of the water, Israel gets 50%, and the West Bank gets 0. So the Jordan sold the Palestinians out, by the way, when they made that agreement. And as you're saying, now they're not even abiding to that. They're taking more than 50% because they can. They have soft occupation in Jordan.
Maybe now they are even, because I think previously Israel didn't want that much direct conflict with a country like Jordan, which it shares a long border with and has a lot of Palestinians as well. They didn't want direct conflict too much with Egypt because they share quite a large border and Egypt at least has a military. But now we're even maybe at the stage where they can permit themselves to be in direct conflict with direct neighbors and not face the consequence. Because previously they wouldn't want conflict with Jordan, because if seriously all Palestinians within Jordan would revolt against Israel, they would have a problem.
They would, but not that much, because they can just turn on the genocide machine. I mean, they kind of, that's why they have these stages, right? The soft power has made it so that Jordan is demilitarized enough or integrated enough in the Israeli military that they can turn against them. Like you saw the way they infiltrate militias like Hezbollah. They have little bombs, terrorism, right? They have bombs in all pockets. Imagine what they have on their friends. That was... Well,
Jordan is infiltrated to the point that
exactly.
it's pretty hard. for them to seriously move or pose any kind of threat. But
Yeah.
looking at sheer numbers still, when there is a serious uprising from neighboring countries, in the end, Israel cannot sustain itself.
Yeah.
But it
Yeah.
would be they need the numbers, and it needs to be coordinated, and that's where they always won, right? By
Yeah.
dividing the enemy, and
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Let's wrap up that
yeah.
segment there. Now comes Mustafa Ayash.
Yeah.
Do you want to do the introduction for this one? Do you think?
Let
Or
you do the intro, and let me add the new part, maybe,
Okay.
or some updates. Yeah.
All right. Then let's jump into it. So, welcome back to Eurozone. You're watching. Well, let me try again.
You're watching Eurozone.
You're watching Eurozone. Welcome back to Eurozone. All right. Welcome back to Eurozone.mk, and today we're going to be discussing the full story of Mustafa Ayash, a Palestinian political prisoner locked in European jails, specifically Austria, for the crime of journalism. You might or might not have seen the TikTok I put up because I was so enraged that I had to quickly and in a Gen Z friendly way tell the whole story from start to finish. On this broadcast, we have also interviewed his brother, so this is a story that's becoming a little bit personal to us. That full interview is not out there because Ibrahim answered in Arabic. We had a whole translation chain between Arabic to Dutch to English and then back. So it was a bit messy to post as a full story. But we do have clips out there on Instagram and TikTok where you can see some of that. Ruben, I know that you've been looking at this case very closely. At this point, I'm also quite caught up, I think. Can you can you tell me where is he right now? What's the most recent? Where is Mustafa Ayash in Austria?
Yeah. So I think for the Dutchies, I guess the 11th November and the verdict here and the extradition is kind of where the story stops, or where we also, for us, we left off because we need a break as well. But the Dutch court did decide to extradite him to Austria, so he's now in jail in Austria. And honestly, to be sure, I don't know if he's in Vienna or Linz. Maybe Wasim knows, but he's not listening. In Linz, okay, good. In Linz, in Austria, in a prison. And so here in the Netherlands, already a visit by family was not allowed from the start, and then contact with family had been blocked for the last 30 days, discontinued in Austria, actually.
Because of that, just complete cut of
okay, yeah, well, at least the lawyer from the start, I believe, and his brother was in contact with the lawyer.
Okay, so I didn't know where he was, but apparently some of you were aware. Okay, yeah. So he's being held in Austrian prison in Wiens, and how is his condition looking? Because when he was transported from the Netherlands to Austria, he was transported in an ambulance, right?
From Germany onwards.
From Germany onwards.
Yeah.
So his condition was so bad that if he didn't have immediate medical attention throughout the journey, he would, he would have had serious medical complications.
Apparently,
So do we know anything about his state right now?
Yeah. It improved a little bit because the condition in Austria have been a little bit better than here in the Netherlands.
That's crazy. I'm so ashamed of my country and the police force. I hope I never have to endure you for talking about this piece specifically. But no, I mean it's insane how brutal the Dutch prisons are. That even though Austria has detained people for life before in Austria for the same reasons, and have the same police state issues, that still his condition then has improved a bit.
Yeah. But it might be part of the strategy as well, right? To this is what we've been thinking, partly at least. Of course, you cannot be sure. This is just speculation, but they really put him in a really bad position here. If you see the video of him walking out of the courtroom, you can see he's very skinny. Yeah. And just look at some pictures before. He was quite a chubby guy.
And he was limping, huh?
He was limping too.
Yeah.
So the conditions here were really bad, and now they're a little bit better in Austria. Maybe they want to, you know, be on his good side a little bit to get some sort of deal. What we heard from his brother is that he did get approached in the Dutch prisons sometimes as well by people that are like, well, unknown or like shadowy figures to put some intimidation and ask him some questions. Yeah, this is impossible to verify still, maybe in the future, hopefully. So, and Mustafa already said before that during his time in Austria, before he got arrested here in the Netherlands, that he was also approached sometimes by some agents trying to get him to do some kind of deal. So if he would just play along, they would leave him alone. He said that had been offered to him many times before already.
Yeah, yeah.
So it is a possibility that they are treating him a little bit better just because they want to do some kind of deal.
Okay. So that's his current condition, and the crime that he is allegedly taking part in. Have they finally unveiled exactly?
Spreading propaganda for a terrorist organization through the Gaza Now channel, and the other one is raising funds for a terrorist organization. I recently had a new look at some of the documentation in Austria. I was prepared to find some new evidence or something shocking maybe that would like justify this whole circus.
Yeah.
Apparently in 1.5 years, all they were able to dig up is some photos of his family with Ismail Haniyeh and photos of himself with Ismail Haniyeh, which was already known for a long time. Yeah, he's a family friend.
And that's it.
Yeah, so it doesn't prove, in itself, it doesn't prove you're
so
part of a terrorist organization,
taking
right?
a photo with the wrong guy apparently means this, that you can be tortured.
This is a recurring pattern, right? Also, Anas al-Sharif, they publicize a photo of him with Sinwar. Just to make it seem like, well, he's part of a terrorist organization.
I'm sorry, but you have a tiny society there of 2 million people in a tiny enclave of land. You're gonna bump into people, and these are
everybody knows each other.
Yeah, if you live in Gaza, of course, I mean, this is the political leaders of your country. And they're not only that, but also they represent a liberation force fighting an occupying force. I think it is natural that you would at some point encounter them, right? Especially if you're becoming a prominent figure in media. Who knows if that was a picture done because he was taking an interview or whatnot.
Even admiring this person or supporting this person, like in word or ideology, you can condemn it, you can disagree with it, but it's not the same as being part of a terrorist organization.
It is not. It is an entirely different act. Of course, in Europe, we still have laws against endorsing terrorist organizations, as we're seeing with Palestine Action.
If you do financial support or something like that. But in the Netherlands, for example, it's not yet illegal. They are busy with it to express support for or glorify a terrorist organization. That's still legal in the Netherlands.
Do you know if that's legal in Austria?
I don't know.
Okay.
No.
In any case, for those of you that might be a bit confused now, let me catch you up to speed. So that is where he is now. Ended up leading him or led him to then also start journalism. And he started this media channel called Gaza Now. Gaza Now became one of the biggest news suppliers in terms of videos and footage coming straight out of Gaza. Especially once the genocide kicked off after October 7. And because of that, the Israeli military was quite pissed off with him, right? They don't like people sharing footage of the genocide that they're committing. So they attempted to assassinate him. Luckily, he wasn't home, but still, a lot of his family members were killed, including, I think, 9 children. It is really crazy. The first to escape to Gaza, escape from Gaza to Austria. And he did that by claiming refugee status, which I think is very interesting. because you would expect that he applied saying, look, Israel is trying to murder me, and Austria said, yes, they are. So you now have the right to stay here. And of course, once he arrived into Austria, the Israelis were immensely furious and pissed off that they were not able to assassinate him. So they started pressuring the Austrian authorities to harass him, and they did. The Secret Service in Austria kept tabs on him 24/7. He was under constant surveillance. The way Ibrahim, his brother, described it to us is that he couldn't even go to the bathroom without being under surveillance. There was constant footage of him. And at some point, after I think almost a year, evidence or case against him for his arrest, they decide to raid his home. When they raid his home, they are so violent.
No, I have to make a correction here.
Yeah.
They raided his home hours after he was put on the US and UK sanction list.
Right. So
and then after that, it was like a year, 1.5 years without developments.
So as you know, we are the bootlickers of the United States and the United Kingdom here in Europe. Daddy Trump is our real president. So the Americans say not my president, and the Europeans say yes, my supreme leader. So because Trump and the UK were pressured by Israel, they put him on a sanctioned list. And at that exact moment, the Austrian police say, thank you. We were looking for an excuse. They raided his home, threw everyone to the ground, destroyed everything, and even beat his wife, who was pregnant at the time. They beat her so hard that she was visually impaired, and continues to be, by the way. Brutal, over-the-top, violent police raid. And now you might be thinking, okay, sure. Was some sort of criminal charge or investigation or something? Absolutely not. He was let go. He was able to continue living in Austria. He was not arrested. They just harassed. They did this whole harassment campaign without an arrest warrant, and they found nothing. They found nothing in the raid. So they continued surveilling him, and eventually it was too much for him. He left the country. But after he left, I think he went to Indonesia, right?
Yeah, correct.
When he was in Indonesia, he was like, man, this raid was so brutal, and my wife is still dealing with this impairment. He was so frustrated that he returned to Europe, to Amsterdam, because he wanted to go to The Hague to file a complaint in the International Criminal Court against the Austrian police, something that is well within his legal rights as a resident of Austria at the time. But of course, when he arrives in Schiphol, the airport of Amsterdam, whole saga starts, and when you guys get in contact with his brother, and we start this whole campaign around Free Mustafa Ayash. So yeah, that's the story of why and how.
and then you try to summarize it, right? And it still becomes this whole elaborate story. It's impossible to keep this story really short.
It really is.
Really hard.
I think the last thing I want to go into a bit more detail on is the torture in the Amsterdam prisons. So many people in Europe think still somehow still think we live in this utopia where we have justice, where we have democracy, where we have freedom, and we still point a finger at and laugh at the Americans at how ridiculous they are. But it's this idea, drop it. We live in a fascist police state. It is just that they give you certain goodies and comfort so that you don't feel like it. But I forget who it was who said this. I think it was a black revolutionary leader who said, those who do not move do not feel their chains. And moving in the context of Europe is protesting for Palestine and the liberation of colonial colonized people. And that's what Mustafa did.
And I would say that any regular prison, if you are a white person, you have a decent time. It's just that when it becomes political or there's something extra to it, or you end up in certain prisons, that's when the abuse starts. And so we've seen this over the last few years quite a lot with Palestinians in prison, and the pattern is the same.
But also with white people now in the UK, Palestine Action, There, first of all, the prison system, because we are in this colonial project, the prison system has a dual purpose, or even a triple purpose. I think the first is to rehabilitate, which is the classic, what you think the prison looks like in Europe.
Yeah.
Because maybe your uncle smoked weed and he went in for a hearing, and you're like, oh, but they were so nice. Then you have the second, which is to brutalize minorities and encourage more crime. And these are the prisons that are more for underdeveloped communities, communities that are underfunded because of racial prejudice. Where, and you see this especially in the UK, the divide, right? Where really those prisons are a lot more about punishment and creating a permanent class of criminals who have to live
even recruiting criminals,
even recruiting criminals,
or recruiting infiltrants.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So that's the dual purpose, and the triple purpose is to have a space where you are allowed by society to torture, intimidate, and just absolutely brutalize anyone who in any way fundamentally challenges the system. So what does this mean? This means anti-capitalist heroes, anti-colonial heroes, anti-military heroes, and of course, in this case, anti-Israeli heroes. And Mustafa Ayyash, being one of these anti-Israeli heroes who was able to show footage of the genocide in Gaza, received the worst of the worst torture that I've read of in a while in Dutch prisons. Can you give a bit more detail on that?
Yeah. To speak more generally and not specifically about this case, because it's a recurring pattern, and people have to reimagine maybe the way they think about torture, because we hear about torture and then we think about like putting electricity on the skin or like burning someone. But torture can be a lot of different things, and it can be applied to all of a person's senses. So one simple way of torture is with vision, right? So there's reports about just shining bright lights on people the whole time, or keeping someone blindfolded the whole time. So overstimulating sight or understimulating sight. You can do the same with hearing. Putting someone in a very quiet room can make someone crazy. Putting a lot of loud music on someone can make someone crazy.
Yeah.
So when we speak of torture in these cases, it's not even those examples, right? But it can be things as simple as removing all normal social contact from a person,
right?
Which is very psychologically damaging.
Yeah.
Just putting someone in isolation for more than 48 hours increases the risk of self-harm or suicide by 8-fold. So, and the damage, the psychological damage that is caused by this is permanent. Not giving adequate clothing while someone is in a cold room. These are all smaller ways of torture, but when you combine all these kind of small parts together, so you isolate someone, you put someone in a cold room, you don't give them adequate food or attention, you put a lot of force on them, which you justify because you are protecting someone from themselves.
Right. What we see is all these methods of psychological torture, driving someone crazy. And when they react in a crazy way, that's when you physically jump in. You permanently handcuff them. You might even put them in solitary confinement. You start to put body weights on top of them, to sit on top of them, to link them to certain objects so they cannot move.
Forced medication,
so injections against their will. And this is really when the physical torture starts to happen. But they need to break you down psychologically first, so that when you speak about it, they can always say, yeah, but he was crazy, he was acting hysterical. They were not in the right state of mind, so we were just trying to help him. This is the tactic of European prisons.
And whatever they will say afterwards about being tortured or maybe interrogated during their time in detention, it will be discredited because you were in a psychiatric unit and you were delusional. That's why you think this happened, but it didn't.
And there's all of this culminates. So imagine you are in complete psychological distress because you have not seen another human in weeks or months. You have been underfed and might be starving or at least malnourished. You have been injected with medications against your will, many times sedatives, and you reach now a point where your body is in complete distress. You have an outburst, and 6 guards come in to sit on your back, and at this point, some prisoners die. They are essentially murdered through this systematic abuse, and when they get murdered, you told something very interesting the other day. They call it a certain cause of death. I don't know if you still remember.
I do remember. Okay. It was very eye-opening because it's something, a diagnosis I never heard of before. So I checked with some colleagues as well.
Can I quickly pause?
Sure.
Okay. Sorry. So I just wanted to emphasize that Ruben here is a licensed medical professional. So we're not talking out of our I am talking out of ass. He is not. That's why I like to have him on the show. He's a very smart guy, professional guy. So what is it that they prescribe this death cause?
So researching this, I came across a diagnosis that I never heard of before. So I had to check with colleagues as well. Is it just that I'm not informed enough and I never heard of this, or is this really a nonsense, bogus diagnosis? And they confirmed for me, no, I never heard about this as well. This is really bogus. It's not a recognized diagnosis. It's called excited delirium syndrome,
which results in death, apparently.
Which can result in death.
Right.
And so some of the symptoms are hyperthermia, so high body temperature, and muscle contraction. But this diagnosis is almost only applied in the prison system or forced context with forced medical interventions. And is put on people after they die in custody. And a lot of times before that there is physical struggle with guards or medical professionals. And so you can imagine what happens if 6 people sit down on top of you. The natural reaction is to resist. But if you do this for a prolonged period of time, the muscle power itself, it will overheat you. It will drain a lot of oxygen from your body to be exerting this kind of force. And if they are sitting on top of you, it becomes harder and harder to breathe because your chest gets compressed.
And if you're under, if you're under heavy medicine dosages,
and if they then inject you with medication to basically make you fall asleep, and they sit on top of you with 6 people, yes, you can suffocate, and yes, you can die.
Right. And when you do die, they label it as death caused by excited delirium syndrome.
This is something that can happen, yes. It's more common in the USA, and I didn't expect to find it here, but after some research, it does happen here as well, to be labeling this kind of diagnosis.
So this is state talk for...
So this smoking gun wasn't even smoking.
And let me remind you that all of the evidence, by the way, against Mustafa Ayyash is collected and supplied by the state of Israel or their collaborating factions inside of Israel. So,
and it shows all the signs of this kind of fabricated intelligence evidence, because it's just copy-paste of photo screenshots, and it's not really evidence, it's just associations and some screenshots. That's it.
And
that's all there is.
And they've done this so many times, right? Someone is making it hard for us to do genocide. We label them as part of Hamas. We present some flimsy evidence. They did this to the fucking UN. Everyone is Hamas, you know? They did this to the United Nations.
Exactly.
This is a playbook we've seen too many times. We're not buying it. And
all they need now is just to have someone in these Israeli torture camps that they will torture until they testify against Mustafa Ayyash and
take it up.
For sure. Shout out to Charlie J for reporting.
Thank you, great journalist. I read some of his other stuff down there. Very, very Good stuff. Good
Yeah,
stuff. Good
yeah.
stuff. I like
Oh,
this stuff.
I spoke to this person on the phone, and according to the voice, I would say it's a woman. But
Women. Okay,
yeah,
sorry.
yeah.
My
I'm
mistake.
not sure, but that's what I think. Yeah.
Fair enough. Whatever you are, I appreciate your contribution. And guys, if we do not force this topic on the table,
Yeah.
it will not be
Yeah.
shared. Follow, obviously, us for more updates, but more specifically, follow Free Mustafa Ayash on Instagram. I really hope that they're in contact now with Austrian organizations that can also start to put pressure.
I did see some protest in Austria at least, so I'm hoping. I'm not really in on it because it's too much to keep
No, you
track
guys
of
did
everything.
a lot here in Amsterdam. So
There will be some juicy updates in the future as well, because you
Yeah.
mentioned about Amnesty being tagged, and also we know they were aware,
yeah,
but there were some players who intervened actually to keep these kind of human rights organizations away from Mustafa's case. But
Yeah.
there will be more about that in the future.
yeah. I think it was Comi Central that tagged someone who said that Amnesty International are ops too, so they're also part of the opposition.
Yeah.
I think, look, I have a lot of respect for these workers. Growing up, I had close ties to a lot of people in like UN institutions trying to save the world, but the truth is they are only able to operate within the boundaries of the colonial military project, of the genocidal project. It is, in my view, more of a marketing scheme than anything else. If
This
Yeah.
week puts the confirms it so much, because who in their right mind takes this moment in time to publish a report stating, well, Hamas committed war crimes on the 7th of October.
yeah.
Girl, you need to get a grip.
Yeah.
You need to get a grip.
This is not the priority. They're not at all the powerful actor. They're not the ones. Okay, and like, okay, fine, yes, they did. All right, fantastic. You know, then like, okay, you don't like war crimes. Have you
Nobody
seen?
likes war crimes.
Have you seen that? That's kind
Have
of.
you seen the 800 days that came after?
Yeah. Have you seen, or the 800 days before?
Well, they did, because they did
80,000
call it
days.
out as a genocide, but then obviously the Zionists, now they are taking this amnesty report to say, Hamas committed war crimes, but the report about Israel's genocide, they push aside. Like, at least we can recognize both.
Yeah.
I'm sure horrible things happen on 7th of October, but you know what? I'm not losing sleep over it.
I can lose sleep over it. I think that's where we're a bit different. I have a lot of empathy for all victims of this. Like, I think, last thing on this topic, but I think I lose sleep over the Israeli youth who have to grow up in this apartheid system.
Sure.
They were all babies one day. They were all kids one day. It's not fair that to grow up in a society where you're taught to hate people. You should not have to be indoctrinated. The thing is indoctrination. Hate is something that is taught. It is not natural. I think. I mean, it's part of the human experience, but it is something. If your whole identity becomes hating a group of people, that is something that is taught to you. And I oppose the Israeli state because of what they're putting their own people through. I'm sorry, but it's like what Sil said in the interview. Like, being a prison guard in charge of torturing Palestinian prisoners, that's not a nice life. You have to show up every day to watch that brutality, to take part in that brutality, to sever people's limbs. I mean, that's not a way of life that brings you any joy.
But they do have a choice. That morning they wake up to take the car a different route and not go to their work, and that's a fundamental difference.
Of course. No, for sure. And that's where there's a lot of cowardice in the West in general, and specifically in Israel as well. I hope more people like us who are privileged can wake up from that cowardice. Listen, if you want more updates, follow Free Mustafa Ayash on Instagram. Sure. We are independent media. We are not funded by anyone anywhere. So we
didn't receive money from the Bitcoin accounts.
No, we didn't. I haven't gotten any Bitcoin from anyone.
No.
So I do. I have a wallet if you'd like to send me. Okay. All right. Oh, okay, we have one.
Oh, we have one more. Okay, let's go.
Last one of the day. How are you feeling? Can we do it?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
If we can take a little break, it would be nice. But if it's better to keep going,
through it.
Okay,
and
let's
then
go.
Yeah,
let's go.
Okay.
My mind is really thinking about Red Bull.
Red Bull? Are they on the boycott
Wasim,
list?
can you get me a Red Bull? Well, some people introduce the topic, and we can get to Red Bull as well, maybe.
Okay.
Yeah.
For the boycott. Wait, no. I'll wait for this. I think it's nice to have like a. It's not an official break, but a break where we're not doing the video part. Poor Wasim, he's becoming the runner here. This is.
And
do you have a Bitcoin
doing the
wallet
whisper
as well?
AI.
I know.
No, not anymore, right?
Okay. Amazing. No, Mustafa, don't.
Yeah, I it slowly. It was falling the whole time. Sorry.
Okay, I'm gonna. You drink your Red Bull. I'm gonna try to salvage this poor guy.
Yeah.
Let's see.
No, so I did research Red Bull a few different times. And some people say it's boycott. And as far as I could find, it's a company from Thailand. And it's still 50% owned by the founder from Thailand. And the other half was bought up by some Austrian, but I couldn't find any concrete links with Israel or like other big conglomerates. So, right, he's a rich Austrian guy, but he's not part of any of the other conglomerates.
Okay.
So, according to me, Red Bull is fine. But if someone has the proof to show the link between Red Bull and Israel, then, like, in the broader sense, I'm sure that they had some kind of sporting event in Israel that was sponsored by Red Bull.
Yeah.
But I think that's a step too far, maybe, for boycotting, because then there's nothing left.
Yeah, I think boycotting should be focused and intentional. I like to go by the official BDS list. I think that's
Better.
Yeah, if you can pressure one company, it spreads. Right, that's how you get the domino
But
effect.
keep informing everybody about all different kind of links, and try boycotting all consumer products as much as possible, I guess.
Yeah, ultimately, yeah.
Ultimately,
I'm at this point, I'm staying away from all the big brands as I can. Like, I don't go to fast food places at all.
Yeah.
I haven't done that in years now.
Yeah.
Like, seriously, I haven't stepped foot in KFC,
I do buy
McDonald's,
New York
Starbucks,
pizza
nothing.
because I found out it's a Dutch company.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So
I didn't know that,
Domino's
yeah.
is an American company, New York Pizza is a Dutch company.
I don't do either, to be honest. I do Pizza Adam. That's my my pizza guy.
That's a local Turkish place. Or
No, they have a chain in Amsterdam.
Pizza what?
Adam. Pizza
Adam. Ah,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. Maybe they don't have it in your cities. That's why. No.
Yeah, don't disclose my...
I will not. I will not. You live on planet Mars, far away from anyone and any Israeli operative. I also don't exist, by the way.
Hallelujah.
I am AI. This channel, I'm gonna start adding that disclaimer so that they can't harass me in public. This channel.
Or maybe that's the best defense for the future, yeah.
Yeah, no, this video is AI generated.
Yeah, for sure.
I do the other fun stuff with the music, and with
That's you.
that's
The
me.
innocent stuff, the
but because
non-political...
What they did was they took all the footage of the innocent stuff and they made it into this AI guy who talks about weird issues. Okay, let's kick off this last one. Welcome back to Eurozone. The topic on the table today is about the European resistance to the genocide in Gaza. The resistance we're going to be looking at is mainly focused around boycotting, but there are also some other interesting stories in there in terms of the UK juries letting people go. On the boycott side, we're talking about Eurovision, we're talking about Tesco, and Finland, one of the main producers, retail producers there, deciding to boycott Israeli goods. A lot of positive momentum. Ultimately, I think it's more symbolic than anything, but we'll get into it. And if you like what you hear, we're a fully independent channel. We don't take money from anyone, including fans, because we have none. And if you like what you see, just stay subscribed and let's get into it. Eurovision, the song contest. I never understood it because I'm not into it. I don't know. Did you ever watch Eurovision?
Yeah, look, in the end, if you're a gay man, there is something, I don't know. Maybe it's the kitsch, maybe it's the drama, maybe it's the complete vapid, empty aesthetics. I love it. Yes.
Okay. I had a suspicion.
But I haven't watched since 2023.
I'm happy you said what I couldn't, but I
No, but that's definitely it. But that's why I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I never understood it. I tried to watch some of it when I was a kid. I would say like 7 years ago, but I never got it. So for me, that was an easy boycott. The World Cup is going to be more challenging, but
that's an easy boycott for me.
But I'll have to. Okay, you boycott the World Cup. I'll do Eurovision. For anyone who doesn't know, it's a song contest.
We will both boycott both of them.
Yeah, let's do that. Let's do that. We're joking. For anyone who doesn't know, Eurovision is a song contest that's supposed to be only European countries participating in, but we also have some colonial projects like Australia and Israel. Of course.
And Canada also participates.
So Europe, of course, takes any possible chance they can to try to whitewash the genocide in Gaza and the Israeli crimes at large. And so they've had Israel participate for a long time now, including in the last 2 years. They even won, I think, 3 years ago. And then they had Eurovision in Tel Aviv, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I think it's a little longer, maybe already 4 or 5 years, but yeah.
And that was when there was the 2019 massacre going on in Gaza as well. So I remember there was that, I think from Finland as well, someone coming up saying with a free Palestine scarf.
Hatari.
Yeah. So this has been going on for a while, but now finally, I didn't expect it. Finally, countries are starting to boycott Eurovision over the inclusion of Israel. Specifically, we have Spain, Ireland, the Netherlands, Slovenia, and Iceland. 5 countries have now pulled out. And specifically how this process works is the main state broadcasters in those countries pull out because they are the ones that are running the show in terms of broadcasting it in their home country.
Caro and CRV, they are just one part of the public broadcasting system, but at least it's public broadcasters should be. Yeah,
I think so, right?
Yeah.
Similar to how it would be with the World Cup, by the way, right? You have all the...
they sell the rights in World Cup, right?
Yeah, they do, but...
they go to commercial channels as well.
You're right. So, 5 countries have pulled out, which is very commendable. It looks like next on the block, so this is really a call to action. If you live in one of these countries, we have Portugal, Belgium, Finland, and Sweden are on the verge, or at least were at some point. Some of them have retracted their interest in boycotting. So in these countries, it's super important that we put pressure right now to get the boycott going. I hope this is a domino effect. If we can get another 4 or 5 countries out, there won't be enough to have a proper Eurovision. Like, you can still just fake it with 5 countries out.
They didn't really publicize this widely. I really had to search for it, but apparently there were 2 or 3 countries that rejoined after they stopped for quite some time. And I really had to Google it to find out which countries were. Romania, Bulgaria, the third one I didn't find.
I think Belgium. I think it was Belgium, because I saw something similar.
But they didn't drop out.
No, that they were going to, and then they've retracted their statement.
But these are countries that were already not participating for some years, but now they came back.
Wow, okay.
Yeah.
So
because the budget had to be
So there you go. A growing number of artists are also boycotting, so that means that you can actually effectively get a boycott if no artists from the nation itself sign up. For example, in Portugal, it was 9 out of 15 artists that were on the lineup who said we're not going if we win.
Awesome.
So I don't know who the fuck you are if you're a musician who still won't pull out of Eurovision. You need to get with the program. You're not gonna have a career. Who listens to music intensely apart from the far right fascists? Who listens to Eurovision music and supports?
Well, a lot of homosexuals. And the pink washing and the Eurovision genocide propaganda, they go hand in hand so much.
No pride in genocide.
The 2 flags you will see the most when you watch Eurovision is the rainbow flag and the Israeli flag.
Right.
Yes.
Right. This is
both of them.
AstroTurf.
Yeah. And today, one of the old winners by Israel, Dana International, was the first transsexual participant of Eurovision, I guess. And she won as well, maybe? I don't know. But she came out as well to say, the boycott is stupid.
Yeah, of course.
To get publications in gay media
Right.
to advocate against this boycott. So the pinkwashing and Eurovision,
They go hand in hand.
Yeah.
This is one of the biggest pinkwashing operations, I guess, of Europe. But yeah, I hope. I mean, I see a lot of no pride in genocide. I see, like, just the other day I was in Garage Noord in Amsterdam, one of the most progressive queer spaces there is, and everywhere you saw messages on the walls. They had a lot of messages supporting Gaza and against the genocide. Everywhere I saw the sticker "No Pride in Genocide," and they have a huge Palestinian flag in the middle of the space there. So I think the grassroots movements, the real, let's say, the masses, have woken up. But very much the people in charge now of these movements that are quite powerful, actually, they're almost becoming institutional. The people in charge are co-opted and are very much pro-Israel still. So hopefully some of the artists from ground up can start to boycott, and then countries will have no choice because they have no one to send, and they will have to pull out.
This is the best, actually.
Yeah.
Like, even if the broadcaster, if they don't want to pull back themselves, let them feel the shame of just not being able to participate in the last moment because the artist said, screw you.
Yeah. So we can attack this from multiple angles. Attack the broadcaster, tell them to boycott. If you're an artist, pull out.
Yeah.
If you're genius, win, and then pull out at the last minute so there's no replacement.
Yeah.
That would be the smartest.
You will get a lot of hate for some months,
Yeah.
but then you will be the hero.
Yeah, and if you come, we'll interview you. We'll give you some praise. And and then on the third front, make sure not to watch it. Don't come in person. If you go in person to Eurovision,
You
What do
can
you do?
only go to Eurovision if you are able to bring a Palestinian flag inside and be able to show it on screen the whole time.
yeah, or maybe, I don't know, some ink, some balloons filled with ink to just throw at the cameras.
Throwing some blood at the Israeli participants.
That would be very nice.
These kind of things are completely
Not
legitimate
real blood,
reasons.
red paint.
No,
but
red
yes,
paint.
I think that might be a crime.
Yeah.
But but yeah.
But these are completely legitimate reasons to visit.
The only legitimate reasons to go to Eurovision. But other than that, don't boycott as well as a consumer. These three fronts together could collapse the whole concept.
Also, boycott Moroccan Oil, an Israeli company that's supporting Eurovision. And also MyHeritage, I believe, the Israeli DNA company.
Ooh, I don't want them to have my DNA in any
No.
case. If you do, you must not read the news.
I'm sure if you are the right kind of person, you will always get the result that you are 2% Ashkenazi Jew.
Right. There's
Yeah.
so you can come get your white man passport
Yes.
and house. Yeah. Of course, France, Germany, and Australia are holding strong for Israel. These are the three top dogs of the American empire, the American-Israeli empire. They are refusing to back down, and they are the core of this white Western coalition, right? That loves Israel.
Yeah.
So those I don't think we're gonna get to bend the knee on this issue, but all the other smaller countries push, and don't stop.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, if we have another 5 countries pull out, it's not going to be a normal Eurovision. It's going to feel like it's going to.
It's already tainted.
Yeah, it's
already tainted.
But it really collapses at that point.
It
I
has to
think.
collapse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Moving on, Finland, the largest retailer in Finland, has now temporarily stopped purchasing products made in Israel, and they gave a release, a PR release, and in that press statement they said that it's because of the European Commission's proposal to suspend parts of EU-Israel trade agreements, and will be revisited depending on future EU policy and peace negotiations. So 2 things there. One, it's a bit flimsy. They can rejoin at any time.
Yeah.
So this is not a hard ideological boycott. it's very, very flimsy, right? So now that there's this peace process with the partition plan, maybe they go straight back to buying products.
Yeah.
And the second unfortunate thing is that this group in particular does not buy that many products from Israel. It's a very small part of their overall supply chain. So the impact will be quite small, but symbolically this is huge. If this can be repeated in other European countries, the dominoes will start to fall until...
Although it's mostly symbolic, the Finland, the Eurovision. But I do think that once it becomes more normal to boycott, you will get the snowball effect. So once it starts, then there's no stopping it.
That's the thing. Never give up. It always seems impossible until it is done. And right now, the task at hand is to push create that first little ball of momentum, because but before you know it, will be a huge machine. And it starts with any boycott we can focus our energy on. Massive shout out to the Finnish groups that were able to accomplish this. Amazing that all these groups pulled out of, all these countries also pulled out of Eurovision.
And even if the boycott is not successful, like the Concertgebouw here in Amsterdam, this genocidal representative is still gonna sing in Amsterdam, but still you can go there and at least you can have the joy of ruining their evening, which is also a win.
Also
like,
fantastic,
never let them forget that we see them, that we know them, and that we don't like them and we don't want them here, because this is also pressure.
Yeah, exactly. We don't want anything to do with the Israeli genocidal state, and anyone that sets foot in our countries that support this should not
make them feel
have
uncomfortable.
an evening of peace.
At least make them at least feel uncomfortable.
Absolutely. And that leads me to my next one. So this is the weakest of the four, but we have in Ireland Tesco workers refusing to handle Israeli goods. Another fantastic example of boycott. You don't even need to get the company to officially boycott. How are they going to stock the shelves with Israeli goods if none of the workers want to do it? And this has a link, by the way. Ireland was one of the first ones to boycott South Africa, and it started like this. Precisely. Retail shops had workers that refused to stock South African goods, and this created a huge domino effect, which eventually led to the collapse of the South African apartheid state. So this one was a huge story. Unfortunately, he got suspended right away from work, but then a bunch of activists and people from the trade union came to protest outside and said that it was unfair. And I think that's also a really good story about how trade unions and social activists together are much stronger and can help each other out, and should always go hand in hand, right? We saw that in Italy as well, with all the trade unions 2 weeks ago, combining with the Palestine activists, with Greta Thunberg and so on.
This sometimes saddens me to be living in this country specifically, because if we look at the port of Rotterdam, it might not be impossible, but this economy is so dependent on temporary workers, migrant workers, independent contractors, all mixed together, working for different companies in different functions, that it's really, really hard. It's not the same as the 50s or the 60s or the 70s, where there would be port workers and they would all be in the same union and you can do a collective action. No, in this case, the person that maybe you convince to participate in this action, he is so replaceable. They will get someone from Poland or Romania tomorrow to do his job.
This is not a coincidence.
Nope.
The capitalist system fragmenting workers into small groups is a direct leads to the direct consequence, is a direct cause for why we cannot have any social progress or social justice in our systems. It is why we cannot oppose the state when they commit a genocide. These things are directly connected. And should we once again form strong labor unions, should we once again form strong social democratic states or even socialist states, then genocide, colonialism, the story we just had with Mustafa Ayash and the torture in Dutch prisons, these things become impossible.
Yeah.
They become near impossible, at least. They become much harder for the European states to participate in.
You cannot
yeah.
imagine, like in the smallest, most insignificant institutions or companies in this country, once an incident happens or there's some kind of irregularity, how quickly all the doors shut down, every mouth shuts down, and the smallest problem will be treated like it's a confidential state secret, and it's about some regulation in the municipality. But once someone starts complaining or making it public, you can see the mechanism go into echoing over.
Last one, and then we're done for the day. But
Yeah.
Okay, I see now what it's. Sorry. The UK jury system. Do you have juries in the Netherlands?
No. This is really some Anglo-Saxon habit. The Commonwealth law system,
exactly.
jury system.
To be tried in a jury of your peers. What that means is a group of 12 jury members have to all agree that you are guilty before you can be sentenced of anything.
Yeah.
Well, not anything, the specific things in specific cases. Now, the UK has had...
it pertains to criminal cases more than civil disputes, I guess, right?
Yeah, I actually forgot what I linked here, but maybe we have a good one. This one is a very quick read, so let's go to this one by the Middle East Monitor. So, UK court acquits Palestine Action activist as prosecution provides no evidence of alleged crimes.
Because there's no crime.
Yeah. So, UK court has found 5 Palestinian action protesters not guilty after they were charged with locking on after shutting down Kent's Israel weapons factory in 2024.
Locking on?
Yeah, so they basically locked themselves to the compounds so that they were in the way of this Israeli...
Doesn't sound like a crime to me, no.
On April 15th of last year, 5 activists secured themselves to each other and to a vehicle to prevent the manufacture of Israeli weaponry at the factory in Discovery Park.
Well done.
Yes, amazing. The activists had pleaded not guilty to charges of locking on or being equipped for locking on, which are new offenses under the Public Order Act in 2023.
They made it illegal.
Exactly. In an effort to block the 4 entrances to the site, which includes property owned by Israeli arms manufacturer Elbit Systems. On the second day of trial, the prosecution informed the court it would offer no evidence and the 5 were acquitted of all charges. A Palestinian Action spokesperson said, whether these activists were acquitted or convicted, they should be proud to know that they have taken material action against complicity in Israel's war crimes.
Here.
Yes, and fantastic piece of news.
But they were acquitted by the jury.
The jury. So what?
It's one of the few advantages of a jury that in these kind of cases sometimes it can help. Yes.
Yeah, if your peers are completely against the morality of a law and how it is being applied, they can acquit you.
Yeah.
We have there's another case in 2024, again on a jury that did refuse to convict. Very similar to the story, so I'm not going to cover it. Instead, what I want to highlight is the UK is now trying to get rid of the jury system because of this, which is a very strong action, right? From that point.
Yeah, I think that this whole Commonwealth law and kind of system, it started with Magna Carta.
I have no idea. I'm not sure.
It's like the founding,
so
founding pieces of the
this is
this state.
For them, it's integral to their democratic rights.
Yeah.
And because it is being used to protest and deny charges of people protesting against Israel, they're getting rid of it. So now there's a foundation called Protect the Jury, which is doing a lot of activism. They have members from Palestine Action who are locked up, who are right now on hunger strike in the UK in order to protect the jury and to protect the right to protest. And linking it to Mustafa Yash and some of the other stories we discussed today, they are being brutalized in a very similar way. I was just listening to Electronic Intifada. They had 2 people on from Protect the Jury, and they were describing how the guy who is on hunger strike, after 20 days, he was hospitalized because he didn't have enough nutrients. And when they put him in a hospital full of people that have severe stomach issues, but like hospitalized for stomach issues. So apparently the bathroom was, as you can imagine, full of feces on the floor. And he was made to he was made to take a shower there and to use that bathroom without shoes, because as a prisoner he's not allowed to wear shoes. So he was walking barefoot in this disgusting prison. He took in this disgusting hospital. Sorry, he took a shower.
The state of the NHS is truly abominable.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Side point, but yeah, fix your system. But he was taking a shower. And throughout the whole shower, he had to be handcuffed to a prison guard. And the prison guard took his clothes. Well, he handed him his clothes, and the prison guard threw them on the floor. That same floor that is very dirty, that had brown spots. And not only did his clothes get wet, but it got wet and mixed with this, excuse my French, shit water.
Yeah.
And he was made to put that clothes on and to wear it again.
You don't even have to go that far to infect someone. It's probably like norovirus, which is a very common hospital virus that makes you shit a lot.
Yeah.
And it's so contagious that you actually cannot even use the same toilet. And so you don't even have to go that far to infect someone with this kind of virus if you want to.
So that is again another sign, another clear show of how they mistreat and torture.
If it
European
even was
citizens.
their intention to infect them or just like mistreat him.
In any case, so he was actually happy to go back to prison because apparently the conditions in the hospital admissions were that bad. Yeah. So
this is another example, right, of how there's so much complicity with medical professionals in these kind of abuses, and it's something that's not discussed at all.
Yeah, absolutely.
Not at all.
So shame on the UK, shame on Germany, France, and Australia. Concluding these stories all together, continue the boycott. Definitely boycott Eurovision, but some of the other main companies as well: Starbucks, McDonald's, KFC. I don't know who else you would throw in there at the top of the list. Coca-Cola.
Oh, there's so many.
Yeah.
For me, it's become so normal because it's been... I didn't boycott the full last 10 years, but I've been busy with it for at least 10 years. So it's such an automatic list already that I don't think about it that much.
Yeah, fair.
Yeah.
And if you're in the UK, show support to the Palestine Action people who are locked up waiting for trial. Keep your democratic right of trial by jury. I think it's integral for certain things like this. And don't let them take that away from you. And if you're in Ireland, go support the Tesco boycotts.
I'm not even really a big fan of trial by jury in general because there's so many things how it can be manipulated in an unfair way. But seeing how it went here with Mustafa in his case, like, I don't really trust the system without a jury as well, and at least sometimes maybe the jury can be a force of good. So
I would say so.
I'm more on the fence about it now, thinking about it, than I was before. Maybe a jury can be a good thing.
I think
as
for
long as the jury is not manipulated, it's a good mix.
For political cases, we should have a jury, or there should be a way for people to say, no, we don't trust the state in applying the law.
Actually, we trust this person that you label a terrorist more than you.
So we don't...
So think about that.
there should be a way, right? God. People should be able to say, no, I don't think you're going to apply the law in a democratic way.
Yeah.
So we demand trial by combat, no, by jury.
Like trial by combat, sometimes even it would be more fair than the stuff we have now.
Yeah,
really.
for real.
It's so. I do want to add something to the boycott list. Teva, the medication company.
We have them right.
Really important. How can I forget them?
Yeah, do not. What is it? Don't take aspirin.
Yeah, they have a lot of different medications. Just get into the habit of being aware of the fact that medications also have brands, because already this is sometimes maybe an eye-opener to people, because branding is not something that's associated with medication. All medications have a brand. Look on the box and you will see who it is. Google them. And then you will find out that a lot of them is Teva. Don't buy them.
Fantastic. All right. Wow, it's been a long live stream. I think we've been going for 2 hours and 13 minutes.
Long enough.
We've done longer actually.
Yeah. 3 hours, I think.
We've done
one
3
time
hours.
with elections.
Yeah. Let's.
And then you couldn't finish it before the elections.
Such a shame.
Yeah, it happens.
Such a shame. Yeah. Oh my god. But we should do more live streams on elections, but we're gonna keep it more tight, I think. Yeah. I think 2 hours is the limit, right? That's like where we start to fall apart.
yeah. I do notice it. That now is when the tiredness is starting to set in.
But also funny because the first half hour, I feel like I hit flow state at some point, but it takes time to warm up, and then now it starts to fall off again. But yeah,
there's a sweet spot somewhere in the middle.
For sure. Yeah. We'll be back. We always have more stories. I'm not sure this will be the case, but next time I want to cover more things more around Russia, Ukraine, Venezuela. I don't know what else we can include in there. Maybe Taiwan. Basically, World War III speed run.
Yes.
Let's see.
Yeah.
All right. Anything else you want to say before I end it here?
No.
All right.
I'm good.
Have fun,
Bye-bye.
guys. Don't forget to stay healthy and
See you
strong
next
so
time.
that you can